Cuba is with 17 years. He's really young. He act like the experienced player and really also with the ball. Unbelievable. But when you see Petri in the midfield, top.
Another La Masia gem shining under Hansi Flick. We already knew Pau Cubarsi had the passing, composure and defensive skills. He showed flashes of it under Xavi, but under Flick he's taken it to another level. So what's changed? Why is he thriving now? And what does he still need to improve to reach Gerard Piqué's legendary status? Let's talk about that. When you hear about young football prodigies, you usually think of flashy attackers, dribbling wizards, or midfield maestros pulling the strings. But a 17-year-old centre-back? That's rare. And that's exactly what makes Pau Cubarsi so special. This kid isn't just some promising defender, he's already playing like a seasoned veteran. The way he reads the game, the way he positions himself, the way he never seems rushed, it's ridiculous for someone his age. Most defenders don't master that composure until their mid-20s. Yet Cubarsi is out here making it look effortless. But let's take it back a second. Where did this kid come from? Cubarsi was born in 2007, which still feels insane. He started his football journey at UE Quart, a small club in Catalonia, before joining Girona's academy when he was just 7 years old. But here's the thing. Barcelona spotted his talent early, and in 2018 they snatched him up for La Masia. And you already know what happens when a young defender joins La Masia. It's like football Hogwarts. From there, his rise was rapid. By the time he was 16, he was already dominating in Barca's youth teams. And before you could even blink, he was making his first team debut, and not just in any game. He played in La Liga, the Champions League, at 16. Like, most kids his age are stressing over high school exams. And this guy is locking down top-tier attackers. But how is he able to do that? Well, it's not just his tackling or aerial ability, though he's solid in both. It's his football IQ. Have you ever watched a game and seen a player who knows where to be at the right time? That's Cubarsi. He's not the biggest, he's not the fastest, but his brain works at elite levels. He doesn't chase the ball like a headless chicken. He anticipates the play before it happens, cutting out attacks before they even become a problem. And then there's his passing. Oh, man, his passing. In modern football, if you're a centre-back who can't play out from the back, you're in trouble. But Cubarsi, he plays like he was born with a ball at his feet. His short passes, line-breaking passes, even those calm, confident dribbles under pressure. It's like watching a young Gerard Piqué with a sprinkle of prime Aymeric Laporte. The craziest part? He's doing all this at 17 years old. Just think about that for a second. When most defenders his age are still figuring out basic positioning, Cubarsi is already stepping up in high-pressure matches for Barcelona. It's not just about potential. He's delivering right now. But here's the big question. How has he leveled up so quickly? Well, a lot of it has to do with Hansi Flick. And that's where things get even more interesting. We all know Hansi Flick loves a high-intensity, well-structured defensive unit. He doesn't believe in sitting back and absorbing pressure like some managers. Instead, he wants his team to be proactive, pressing high and controlling the game. This is exactly what Cubarsi needs. Under Flick, Barcelona has the highest average possession in La Liga, with 66.5%. That means they're not just defending deep and hoofing the ball upfield. Instead, they control the game, dictate the tempo, and build from the back. And guess who's at the heart of that? Cubarsi. He's had more passes per 90, 1,682, than any other defender in the league. Now that's crazy for an 18-year-old centre-back. He's not just a defender, he's a playmaker from deep. Flick's pressing style means that Barcelona doesn't give opponents much time on the ball. That's great news for a young centre-back because it means he doesn't get constantly bombarded by wave after wave of attacks. Instead, the entire team is working together to win the ball back quickly. The pressing starts from the front with Lewandowski, Rafinha and Yamal, but the real magic happens in midfield, where Pedri and Marc Casado apply relentless pressure. And then there's Cubarsi, who's reading the game like an experienced veteran, cutting out passing lanes and stepping up to intercept the ball. That's why he's already made more than 300 defensive duels this season. And let's not forget the structured backline. Flick doesn't leave his defenders isolated. With Koundé and Balde supporting him, Cubarsi isn't left on an island against elite attackers. He's part of a defensive unit that moves together, stays compact, and suffocates the opposition. Before Flick, Cubarsi was seen as a talented but inexperienced defender. Now, well, he's showing aggression, confidence, and maturity beyond his years. He's not afraid to step out and engage strikers, win aerial duels, and put in tackles that make you think, wait, how old is this guy again? Flick has also helped him with his decision-making. Instead of just playing safe passes, Cubarsí is now more adventurous with his distribution. He's picking out runners, launching diagonal balls, and breaking opposition lines with his passing. Under Flick, Barcelona has played the most passes into the final third, and Cubarsí is a key part of that build-up. Tactically, he's improved massively. He knows when to step up and press, when to drop back, and how to position himself to cover space. He's also much more vocal, organizing the defense like a seasoned pro. That's the kind of growth you expect from a player learning under a coach like Flick, who turned Bayern Munich into a defensive machine in 2020. Now, here's the big question. Why is Flick putting so much faith in an 18-year-old? Well, it's simple. Cubarsí is that good. Flick has always been a manager who trusts young talent. At Bayern, he gave Alphonso Davies and Jamal Musiala big roles, and we all saw how that turned out. At Barcelona, he sees Cubarsí as a future defensive leader. The kid has composure, intelligence, and technical ability that fit perfectly into Barcelona's system. And let's not forget, Barcelona under Flick has been the second youngest team in La Liga this season. He's building something for the future, and Cubarsí is a cornerstone of that project. Hansi Flick has turned Barcelona into a high-pressing, attacking juggernaut, and Pau Cubarsí is thriving because of it. With a structured defense, a high-intensity pressing game, and a system that lets him play to his strengths, he's growing into one of the best young defenders in the world. And if this is just the beginning, imagine what he'll look like in a couple of years under Flick. But you know what seals the deal? The way he's already stepping up in big games like he's been doing this for a decade. Think about it. Most young defenders take years to develop that ice-cold composure under pressure. But Cubarsí? He's playing like he's been through 3 Champions League finals already. You see him against top-tier strikers, and it's like he's studying them in real time, figuring out their moves before they even make them. And that's not normal for an 18-year-old. And here's the thing. Flick trusts him because he delivers. This isn't just a case of, let's give the kid a chance and see what happens. No, he's out there dictating the tempo, shutting down attacks, and making elite strikers look ordinary. I mean, look at him against Real Madrid. It's not just about the tackles and interceptions. His entire presence gives Barcelona stability. And when you have a manager like Flick, who believes in a well-drilled defense with proactive pressing, you need a guy like Cubarsí who gets it. And the best part? He's only going to get better. We're watching the rise of a future defensive leader in real time, and it's happening faster than anyone expected. If he's already bossing games now, imagine what he's going to look like in 2 or 3 years under Flick's guidance. La Liga strikers better start preparing because this kid isn't slowing down anytime soon. But the big question is, how good can he get? And what does he need to improve on over time? Well, before we get to that, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel, as this will help the channel grow and help us hit our target of getting 35,000 subs this month. Thank you, and now back to the video. If we're talking about Cubarsí's future, then there's one name that instantly comes to mind: Gerard Piqué. And listen, I know comparing any young centre-back to Piqué is borderline crazy, because we're talking about a guy who won everything. But if Cubarsí wants to truly reach that legendary status, there are certain aspects of his game that still need leveling up. First off, let's talk about presence. Piqué wasn't just a great defender, he was a leader, a personality, a guy who commanded respect the moment he stepped on the pitch. Whether it was barking orders at his backline, getting under opponents' skin, or simply playing with that unshakable confidence, Piqué owned every defensive situation. Right now, Cubarsí is showing signs of that, but he's still the quiet kid in the backline. You can tell he has the intelligence, but he needs to develop that authority. You know, that aura where attackers look at him and think, yeah, I'm not winning this battle today. Then there's the physicality factor. Piqué was never the fastest defender, but what he had was elite positioning, strength, and an ability to outmuscle almost anyone in one-on-one situations. Cubarsí, on the other hand, is still filling out. He's got the height, but he's not there yet in terms of sheer physical dominance. You see it sometimes when he comes up against more experienced, stronger strikers. They try to lean on him, push him around a bit. To his credit, he holds his own more often than not, but once he adds that extra muscle, he's going to be an absolute nightmare for any forward trying to body him. Now let's get into ball-playing ability, because this is where the comparison gets interesting. Piqué was one of the best ball-playing centre-backs we've ever seen. He could carry the ball forward, break the lines with pinpoint passes, and even chip in with some cheeky goals. He was a deep-lying playmaker disguised as a defender. Cubarsí? Oh, he's already showing those traits. His passing numbers are insane for an 18-year-old, and under Flick, he's becoming even more adventurous with his distribution. But here's the next step. He needs to develop that risk-taking ability. Piqué had this ridiculous confidence to dribble past pressing forwards, step into midfield, and join the attack when needed. If Cubarsí can add that to his game, we're talking about a defender who can dominate, both defensively and in possession. And we have to talk about leadership. Piqué wasn't just great because of his defensive ability. He was the guy organising everything at the back, making sure everyone was in the right position, and stepping up in clutch moments, whether it was a last-ditch tackle, a crucial clearance, or even popping up with a goal when Barcelona needed one. He was that guy. Cubarsí, for all his talent, is still learning that side of the game. He's surrounded by experienced defenders like Koundé and Araujo right now, which is great for his development, but at some point he'll need to be the one leading the charge. The good news? He's got the intelligence, the composure, and the work ethic to grow into that role. It's just a matter of time. So is he on the path to becoming the next Piqué? Honestly, the potential is there. He's already ahead of where Piqué was at 18. But football isn't just about potential. It's about development, consistency, and mentality. If he can add more strength, develop his leadership skills, and take more risks in possession, we might just be looking at Barcelona's next defensive icon. And under a manager like Flick, who trusts him completely and is molding him into a complete defender, there's no telling how high his ceiling is. One thing's for sure, if he keeps this up, La Liga is about to witness the making of a legend. He isn't just another promising youngster, he's the real deal. Under Hansi Flick, he's gone from an academy prospect to one of the most exciting young defenders in world football. He's calm on the ball, reads the game like a veteran, and already puts up elite numbers, and he's just getting started. Of course, there's still room to grow, but if he's this good at 18, imagine him in a few years. La Liga attackers, be warned, Cubarsí is coming.